Alright, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC Vegas 47. This one's on the prelims. At middleweight, we got Sam Alvey taking on Phil Hawes. Hawes is going to have a listed reach advantage of 2 inches, training out Sanford MMA. Sam Alvey, Team Quest, he is listed as 2 inches taller. So I'll start with Sam Alvey. The immortal Sam Alvey, they should call him. I know Matt Brown's got that nickname, but Sam Alvey is the real immortal one. This guy cannot get cut no matter what he does. I think 6 or 7 winless streak dating back to 2018 was the last time Sam Alvey got a win. And granted, he's fought some tough names in there. Jimmy Crute got knocked out by him. Fought a very competitive fight with Ryan Spann where he almost got him out of there in the 3rd round. Had him hurt badly. I think if he maybe stood him up after that first counter right hook connected that really stunned him, I think he maybe could have gotten him out of there. But, armchair quarterback, it's late in the fight. It is what it is. But he did get the split decision in that one. The fight against Diamond Jung, there's a strong argument that he could have won that one with the point deduction. And then against Wellington Turman, though, I think he was a small underdog in that one. I think Wellington Turman was like minus 130. And Sam Alvey just does what he always does, man. He just backs up the whole time. He's got decent counter striking. Pretty good, actually. He's got a good check right hook that he has success with. When he does throw his left straight, it's pretty clean. But he does tend to wind up a lot on a lot of these shots. But he is durable, and it all just lends to a style where he's always live for the knockout. He obviously hasn't gotten it. It's a fight style where you pretty much are just surrendering the round because fighters just advance forward and they can just pick them apart. If they do overcommit, they get in trouble. But he has landed some powerful shots against pretty much all of his opponents. He had Marquez hurt. He had Ryan Spann hurt badly. Could have gotten him out of there. So, there's a reason. I mean, I don't really know the reason, man, if we're talking about why Sam Alvey is still around. No disrespect to him. Glad he's getting his money. But, man, it's becoming a meme at this point. Like, how many fights can Sam Alvey lose and they still keep him around? If he loses this one and they keep him around, I will truly give up guessing, man. I do think if he loses this fight, it's probably the end of Sam Alvey. But speaking of that, Phil Hawes kind of in a tough position here, and I know Phil Hawes gets a lot of criticism for being like a choke artist. I don't think it's necessarily fair. Like, I get it. He's got a couple flaws in his game that are concerning, which we'll get to in a second, but I like the progression that Phil Hawes has made in his UFC career. His striking has gotten a lot cleaner. His wrestling's gotten cleaner. His cardio seems like it's getting better. There are things to like, but that's one of the first issues with Phil Hawes. The cardio has been a problem in the past, but in his short career here, which includes a handful of UFC fights at this point against good competition, starches Jacob Malkoun in the 1st round, starches that guy on the Contender Series. I didn't prep his name, so I'm just not going to try. Let's say Bastayev KOs him in the 1st round. Nasruddin Imavov, now this is an interesting one. He gets cracked in that one pretty bad. He's hurt badly, but then he ends up just recovering, and a lot of clinch control ends up getting him the decision there. It's a good decision to have on your record, but again, if you go back and watch the fight, it was Hawes just kind of not allowing Imavov to do anything, which, granted, it's a good win to have on your resume. Good for Phil Hawes for doing it, but I don't know. I feel like Imavov wins that fight if they fought again, I mean, Phil Hawes is strong, but against Kyle Daukaus, man, that's probably the best, most complete performance we've seen from Phil Hawes. The wrestling was good. The cardio looked good. Daukaus has good BJJ. He kept out of trouble with that, and it was just an all-around pretty solid, dominant win for Phil Hawes. We can say that. Unanimous decision. And then against Chris Curtis, Chris Curtis is a guy who I was on Curtis in that spot. I should have been on him against Brendan Allen, man. I knew I shouldn't have bet against Chris Curtis at least, but I did. That guy is a monster. I love Chris Curtis's game. He's been around for a long time. He's not like, a lot of guys coming off the regional scene, and you just think they're going to be like a can, they're going to be somebody that they can springboard against. Chris Curtis is obviously not that. They just booked him against Dricus du Plessis, so Chris Curtis is a very game fighter, man. And Phil Hawes, again, the striking looked clean. He was landing some clean, very, very straight right hands that I liked a lot in that one. He landed about 10, 15 kicks to the body, and they were all hard kicks. But Chris Curtis is known for downloading information, and I thought that he was going to come on strong in the later rounds because of Phil Hawes' cardio, but one big counter left hook had him hurt bad, wobbly, basically out on his feet, and then a follow-up knee. That was the end of him. He just tumbled over, and that was it. So that's the other glaring weakness, or not glaring weakness, but his chin is a little bit suspect. And this fight was not that long ago. It was like 2-3 months ago, and he's coming right back again against a guy who has some power in his hands still. You can say whatever you want about Sam Alvey's game. He still has power in his counter-striking ability. And it all just points to a situation where when we got a line, Phil Hawes minus 335, I think it's just an all-around fade for me. If I had to go with a method, I would say Phil Hawes by decision, but I just don't really want to trust it. I don't want to say bet on Sam Alvey. I'm probably going to take a shot on Sam Alvey by KO because we're probably going to get it at like plus 400, and I just like to use things like that as like a little parlay sweetener, very low wager, high payout type deals. That's the type of prop that you got to look for in that. Just a true lottery ticket. But Sam Alvey by KO are probably going to get it like plus 400. I think it does have some betting value. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think that Phil Hawes, I do trust his game enough to pass this test against Sam Alvey. But at minus 335, I think it's a trap. And, a lot of times spotting the traps and the lines that are just going to, that the bookies just have juiced, they're just as important as the fights that you do pick, your underdogs or whatever, your close favorites. They're just as important to know which ones to skip. And personally, I don't really like betting anything over minus 350. Anything in like the minus 300 to minus 350 range, I have to be very confident. And even then, I don't like it. Anything higher than that, I can never get crazy about the line. So at minus 335, it really doesn't have any value anyway. And there are some obvious traps here. So there's a lot of juice lines on this card. There's a lot of big favorites. It's a matter of picking the ones that you want to use. And there's value in that. I like to bet that way. I like to pick a couple decent sized favorites. Not nothing husky, but like minus 270-ish, that range. I pair them together, put a couple units on it. It's a decent way to bet, but you got to pick your spots, and I just don't think that Phil Hawes at minus 355 or 335, I just don't see any value in that. So this is an all-around pass for me, though I do like Phil Hawes to probably grind out a decision. So thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe, and take it easy.